Hello people of YouTube, this is Flatcap here with another video. I apologise you can hear the birds chirping outside, it's a lovely morning. Now, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has been very positive about the Doctor Who comic, Doctor Who and the Great Destroyer Part 1. If you haven't read it, there is a link in the description. It's over on my Twitter, so you may need a Twitter account to view it, I'm not entirely sure, but the link is there. Let me know. Now, I just want to give a quick update. So, Part 2, what's going to happen there? We're still working on the script. I know some people are going to say, well, why not write the whole thing first and then draw it out? Well, basically, the reason why is because this comic was intended as a pilot. The idea was to draw this and then we'd come back and do it again later on and draw the rest of the story. However, we decided halfway through we'll keep this as the proper thing and just go on with the story. Right, rather than do it again, we'll show the progression. And I think if you read the comic, you'll see the artwork definitely progress as it goes on. Hence why the comic is called Issue 0. You may have noticed on the cover. I always seem to do that in a lot of my comics. They have a lot of comics I've done in the past, the first issue, instead of being called Issue 1, it'll be called Issue 0, because it does act as a pilot. In case anyone wonders where that's come from, basically it's from I imagine it's been done in other comics, but the Archie Sonic the Hedgehog comics, when they originally started in 1992 as a mini-series, Issue 1 was Issue 0. But anyway, Part 2. We have been writing the second draft. I originally wrote the whole thing last summer and basically just been reworking ideas. Certain things need to be fleshed out or changed. Even as I'm writing Part 2, there are things that I'm thinking, yeah, maybe that character can be removed, that scene can be changed or removed entirely. But yeah, Part 2 is coming. The only thing we have completed of it is the cover for Part 2, which you'll see now, which is Part 2, but it's labelled as Issue 1. I do apologise, that is rather confusing, I know. And we've done the recap page, and literally all that is, similar to the classic series, you'd have like the recap of what happened at the end of the last episode. Another thing we are thinking of doing, though, is at the beginning of the issue, is we have one of the characters recap the story. So you'd basically be reading something in character, so like, you'd be like, oh, the Doctor here, and such happened, and so on. Similar to the Sonic Adventure 2 game, where the characters will recap what happened, what you're about to do in a level. I'll put a clip here if I remember.
I'm Dr. Eggman, the greatest scientific genius of the world. I went to the space colony Ark, as Shadow told me to do. What's in the central control? I have to find out.
The comic is, in a way, on hiatus. You will not be seeing Part 2 through whatever for a while. And the reason why is, unfortunately, due to this whole coronavirus. Basically, because I colour with pens, I do traditional. I draw the thing, I ink the thing, and then I colour the thing. I'm just not keen on digital, I prefer traditional artwork. And unfortunately, I don't want to be halfway through an issue and then be like, oh dear, I've run out of a certain colour. Because, unfortunately, getting a replacement is going to be difficult. I mean, if you go on Amazon now, if you go and look at Doctor Who DVDs on Amazon, they are vastly going out of not out of print, out of stock completely. They're running low, and I imagine the situation is going to be the same for the pens. But the idea is we're going to draw the whole thing out, and then hopefully when all this coronavirus stuff is over, which could be well, in the UK now we're in quarantine for 6 months, so it could be 6 months' time. Before we know, it could be a year's time. It could be a while. The only option we have is to just draw the comic out, ink it all up, and then we can upload the comic like that in black and white, which I don't really want to do. I want to keep it consistent. You've had Part 1 be full colour with pens, and I don't want it to be suddenly black and white or suddenly it's coloured with pencils. The only other option we're thinking of is perhaps doing this as an audio story, similar to Big Finish or other YouTubers who have done Doctor Who audio stories. But of course the thing is we'd have to find people to do the voices and all that. We'll see. In terms of future Doctor Who comics, I do hope to do more. It depends on how this whole story is received. I've got quite a few different comics planned, and at the minute I'm writing a 6th Doctor comic, although even though I'm going to write it, I might not draw it for a while because of the events that happened in the comic could be very similar to what's going on at the moment, unfortunately. Very bad timing there. So it's either that or a Fourth Doctor comic that I've had bubbling away recently. Just type in the comments what you think we should do. Would you prefer to wait until all this is over and so we can actually colour the comics? Would you want it in black and white, or would you want it as an audio story? Let us know. Link to the comics in the description. Please share the comic. I would like as many people to see it as possible to get some feedback. A lot of work went into this comic. The writing started in July, August. It was last summer. And we've been drawing and editing this comic since November, October. It's taken until the beginning of April to actually get it uploaded onto Twitter. So you can see a lot of work has gone into this. I think that's essentially it. I'll see you in my next video, whatever that is. Goodbye.